What's up, guys? Happy Monday morning. This is a really special episode for me. This is episode 156, which means for the last 3 years, I have not missed a single Monday's recording. And it's got me feeling a little emotional, to be honest. Like, it's 1,095 days. And like you've heard, I mean, you haven't, but I've heard, Andy Frisella talk about what would happen if you committed to something for 1,000 days. And, a friend of mine, I would consider even a mentor, like Trevor Crowley's like on chasing 1,000 straight days at 2-a-days. And like, that's a wildly different commitment than what I'm talking about. I'm not comparing them, but just, it's crazy what can happen when you create something of discipline and commitment and dedication for 3 years. Like 3 years of Mondays. There's 156 of these episodes out there that you can go back and listen to. And what's really cool for me in the journey of the last 4 or 5 years of content creation and podcast recording is what I didn't know when I started was how impactful and evergreen that message was going to be for my children. And like, I catch my 8 and 5-year-old now, like in their rooms listening to some of my podcasts, which means my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids, and like the content's going to live forever to teach my family lineage who I was, what I meant, what I believed in. And it's going to give them lessons that I wish I had earlier in life. I wish I had that. And, today's topic specifically is somehow pain is a privilege. I was actually talking to a client yesterday about, things don't always go well in life and business, but pain is a privilege. Like the pain of covering your payroll is a privilege. The pain of worrying about cash flow is a privilege. The pain of dealing with shitty customers is a privilege, because the alternative would be to have none of that. The pain of making your marriage work is a privilege. The pain of dealing with your children on a daily basis is a privilege, because there are people out there right now trying to figure out how to feed their kids. There's people out there right now trying to figure out how to have kids. There's people out there right now that don't have a business. They're employees. Nothing against employees, but that wasn't for me. I tried that. I lived that life. I lived the life pre-content creation. Like, putting out content at the cadence I do is exhausting. It's not fun most days. Typically, it's a calendar block that I don't even look forward to anymore. But the pain of that is a privilege. Because of that privilege and that dedication, that discipline, that mental toughness, I have changed thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives, and I wouldn't change that for anything. I will suffer forever creating content just like this, because I've evolved and I've changed, and the pain of the evolution I've gone through is a value that I can give other people. It's the real, it's out there, it's something I can do, it's something I can have that you can't take from me. You can't take the privileges I have, because I earned them through pain and suffering and frustration and disappointment and letdown and lost relationships. Everything that I've been through has brought me every privilege that I have. And I need you, I beg you, I'll coach you to figure this out, but you have to find a way to be grateful for the pain. Because I don't know about you, I won't go back to the pains I used to deal with. I won't go back to being 330 pounds. I won't go back to making 60 grand a year. I won't go back to like putting vacations on credit cards. I'm not going to go back to not being fully in love with my wife. I'm not going to go back to anything that I was. I can't go back. Once you evolve past a certain level, you can't go back. Like, if you've ever had a great steak, going back to choice steak sucks. You ever had a great cigar, going back to a shitty cigar sucks. You ever had a great glass of wine or a bottle of wine, you can't go back. And those levels continue to change. Those levels continue, you can't go back. So you better be grateful for the pain that you have now, because it's a privilege. The lessons that you've learned, the pain that you've gone through are gifts to the next person, the next employee, the next customer, the next friend, the next business associate or partner, the next employee that you have. They're gifts to that person. You'll never make the same mistake again. You'll never be the same person. You'll never be the same immature, ignorant, frustrated, overweight, alcoholic, porn addicted, drug addicted, what womanizer, like we all have our you'll never be that person again. So you get to give that gift to somebody else. That pain is an absolute privilege, and I need you to be grateful for it, because if you believe you're not supposed to have it, if you believe it's not supposed to be hard, if you believe other people are not dealing with the same 1,095 days, 3 years, I have sat here on this way and put this information out. And man, I go back and look at videos from 2018. I was saying the same. The pain I went through was the privilege that I've earned to get the results and the rewards I have now, and the stages I get to get on, and the people I get to work with, and the customers I get to have, and the team I've built, and the family, and the routine, and the stuff. You will not be able to take that pain away from me. That's a privilege that I earned that you cannot have until you go through it yourself. So I challenge you to start in documentation, write it down, say it aloud, be grateful for the pain, because it's a privilege that is giving you the opportunity to earn and deserve all the rewards you have too. You don't get the success without the pain. You don't get to evolve without the pain. You don't get to have the things you say you want to become, the person you say you want to become without the pain. Be grateful for it, because without it, you're stuck. Without the pain of evolution, you're stuck. Without the privilege of the pain, you get to stay exactly who the you are. I'm not done growing. I'm not displeased with who the person I am right now. It hit me probably about 18 months ago for the first time ever. I sat there and I looked at what I had grown through and what I had grown into and what I had. And for one of the first times in my life, I looked at, I have a lot, and I'm very grateful for the things I have, and I'm grateful for who I am, and I'm thankful for who I am, but I'm not done growing. I'm not done growing. And the pain I've gone through the last 18 months wildly exceeds the pain of the 20 years leading up to that moment, but I look at it differently now. God gave me a gift to carry the pain most people can't, so I can give them the gifts they don't know they deserve. The pain you're dealing with is a privilege, and I challenge you to look at that differently starting now, because I have zero doubt if you start looking at the pain you're dealing with as a privilege, you will win faster and you will win more often. Because the only thing stopping you from enjoying the things you have is your perspective of the pain. You feel like you are being punished when you are actually being rewarded for the effort and the desire to grow. Get out there. Be grateful for it. You'll be amazed at how much easier and faster the journey becomes. I love you guys. 3 years down, the rest of my life to go. This ain't gonna stop. The pain ain't gonna go away, but the privilege will remain. Love you guys.